Hey, so welcome everyone. Again, my name is Lamecca Holmes, Director of the East Flatbush Community Partnership. Glad that you are with us today for our monthly meeting for the month of February. If you have not already, please introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know if you are a resident of East Flatbush or representing another community, or if you are a service provider, you feel free to put your organization's name and your contact information. All of the presentation, the chat notes, as well as information shared during this meeting will be sent out to everyone. So you'll get that in your inbox shortly after the meeting is done. And we are going to continue. Our agenda for today is we have our East Flatbush Community Partnership updates. We have two presentations, one from Craig Walsh, and Craig is with the Administration for Children's Services, Division of Youth and Family Justice. We have another presenter, Lauren Glassman Shore with JCCA, and we'll end off with our program updates. Gonna kick things over to Kai.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kai Pretty, a Community Ambassador at East Flatbush Community Partnership. Thank you for joining. I would like to inform you about our weekly newsletter that goes out every Wednesday. If you want to send any flyers or send any events that you guys are having, you can send it to Miss Cindy at readc@jccany.org. I will also put in the chat our monthly presenter form so you can sign up for that. Our East Flatbush Community Resident Liaison, we would like to inform everybody it's here today to apply. Our requirements is just to reside in one of our following zip codes: 11203, 11210, 11212, and 11226. You have to attend monthly virtual and in-person meetings. No education requirements, just knowledge of your neighborhood and a willingness to make a difference. Benefits offered is a $250 stipend every 3 months. Lecture cards will be provided, opportunities to develop your leadership skills and gain experience with community coalition strengthen activities. Thank you. If you would like to be a part of it, please reach out. Thank you. I would like to inform you guys about our virtual open door that happens every second Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. It's a monthly virtual resource fair for East Flatbush residents to share information and access resources for families and communities to thrive. Sorry, that was Alexa. We often have raffle prizes with gift cards and have everybody come out second Thursday of each month. And here you guys are at our general monthly meeting that happens every fourth Thursday of each month from 3 to 5 p.m. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. And inform you about our next meeting will be in person. It is March 28th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 57 Willoughby Street. Our next meeting will be in person, but we will also be streaming it via Zoom for anybody that cannot attend. But we do encourage everybody to come out and support. Thank you. And then here goes our website, eastflatbushpartnership.org. We put hard work into it. Check it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kai. Cindy.
Hello, everyone. Cindy Reed here with the partnership. I'm excited to bring you the updates on past and upcoming events. For a recent collaboration, we joined forces with the Mayor's Office of Faith-Based and Community Partnership, Mount Zion Church of God, Brooklyn Center of Quality of Life, and the Haitian American Caucus. Together, we hosted a workshop on navigating your local government, a skillfully facilitated by Pastor Gilman Rose. If you missed it, don't worry. More similar presentations should be coming up soon, but information is important and crucial in our community and lacking in our community as well. So to have that for past events. For upcoming events, we have two fantastic upcoming events. One, in partnership with East Flatbush Village, the new East Flatbush Family Enrichment Center, the Brooklyn Level Up Seeds in the Middle, the Civic Engagement Commission, Wealth, and Brooklyn Level Up We will be celebrating Black History Month with a family cook-off this Saturday, February 24th. There will be 2 sessions, one at 11 a.m. and the second one at 2 p.m. Seats are limited, but we still have a few spots left for families to participate. So I'm looking the chat shortly for that flyer and link to share with your community as well for that. Additionally, our Herd at Home community conversation will be held on Saturday as well at 2 p.m. This month's theme is the fight for housing, featuring an insightful panel discussion. Looking forward to that discussion. And we're eager to connect residents to resources that day as well. And as just mentioned, last month we had Con Edison presenting some great information to the residents that attended, but we continue to hold Open Door. This next month, it will be hosted on March 14th at 7 p.m. virtually. And last, join us next month. We will be meeting in person for our March meeting. It will be held hybrid style, but we will also be in person at the new office space at 57 Willoughby. So we hope that those of you who are used to attending virtually will come in and join us in person. But if you can't, virtual will be an option as well. And continue to introduce yourself in the chat and share your information. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay, we'd like to have our first presenter be introduced.
Good afternoon. I'm Diane Smith. I'm a community ambassador with East Flatbush Community Partnership. I have the honor of presenting Craig Walsh, the Borough Director for the Family Assessment Program, New York City Administration for Children's Services, Division of Youth and Family Justice. Mr. Craig, Mr. Walsh, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. A pleasure to be here. My name again is Craig Walsh. I'm the Borough Director for the Brooklyn Family Assessment Program. And just to give you all a little bit of information regarding FAP, we are, and I want to use the word FAP, which is our acronym for the Family Assessment Program. We are located in all 5 boroughs. We service families based on the borough in which they reside. So of course, we're here in Brooklyn, families will come to us. Oftentimes, we will have families who live in another borough, but their children attend a school here in Brooklyn. So if you reside in another borough, even though your child attends school in Brooklyn, you will still go to the borough in which you reside if you want to access FAP services. We are open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No appointment is necessary. A family can walk in at any time during our business hours, or they can give us a call at any time as well. We do intake over the phone and in person, and that is something that has changed since the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, FAP would only see families in person. We have become more flexible since then, which I believe is a great tool for us to be able to reach families in more ways than one. So just to give you a little bit about the Family Assessment Program. So we are a voluntary preventive program with the Administration for Children's Services. Our goal and purpose is to work with families who are exhibiting some concerns, behavioral concerns, mainly with their child. We typically service 10 years to 18, but we have seen kids as young as 5, 6, but those younger age will be on a case-by-case basis. We are driven by child's behavior. So our services are driven by the youth's behavior. So when we're talking about behavior, truancy, drug use, aggression in the home, in the community, gang involvement, mental health concerns, you name it, these are the kids that we want to see. The goal ultimately for us is to try to get to these young people before the justice system gets to them, or even before the child welfare system gets to the family. So even though we are ACS as well, we don't want families to get an ACS case, right? If we can help put services in place to minimize other systems from getting involved. We offer a host of in-home family therapy services, which a therapist goes to the home to meet with the parent and the youth, oftentimes the entire family, to address whatever behavioral concerns that's happening in the home. We reach out to the school as well, so we can partner up on a case-by-case basis if, of course, there are concerns within the school as well. So not only do we have services in home and their therapeutic services, meaning the therapist goes to the home to work with the family at least once a week. Depending on the model, it could be more than once a week, but it wouldn't be any less than once a week. The reason for our strategy in terms of in-home services and meeting with the family is because we do believe that although the youth is the one exhibiting the behavior and the reason why the case probably is on the table, it's going to take not just us working with that youth, but also the parent or any supportive resources to try to get to minimize the behavioral concerns. We also have a mentoring program. So we have both male and female mentors. So we'll work with our young people from 6 months up to the age of 21. Before our services would stop at 18 for a mentoring program, but we recently got an extension from the mayor's office for, and we are now implementing or partnering with I'm not sure if anyone have heard of Fair Futures, but Fair Futures is a program that works very intensely with young people on any goal and aspirations that they have. The purpose of that program is to try to have kids set goals and learn how to work towards their goals. So we do have that mentoring option as well. We have a respite option, a 21-day respite program. And this is mainly for families who there's a lot of conflict in the home. A lot of times we see youths being very aggressive towards their caregivers. We will then try to take that youth out of the home with the youth's consent, because we need the youth's consent for our respite program for 21 days to work with them on skill building, assign them a mentor, as well as to assign a therapist to the parent to work with them as well on the issues that are of concern in the home. And within 21 days, the family's reunited and in-home therapeutic services continue with that family. The family assessment program is also a PINS diversion program. So PINS stands for person in need of supervision. Some states use the term status offenders. And pretty much what this means is there are young people who are exhibiting at-risk behavior, at risk of being arrested. And we're the gatekeepers to the families and the family court system in the event that a family is seeking court intervention. So I will speak a little bit about PINS. So there's two ways that we refer a family to court for PINS. One is if a youth is missing. This is something that we're seeing more and more in our communities. We have young people leaving, going missing for days, weeks, months upon a time. We can process that case and have the family go speak to a judge for a more, of course, intense intervention. Also, with our services, one of the good things with our services is if we are providing services for a family and a youth is refusing to comply with services upon that family's request, because again, we are voluntary, so we do nothing without the family's consent and more importantly, the families the one that's driving the intervention that they need for their young person. So with the parental consent, we will send the family to court so they can speak to the judge to further see what intervention or what mandates can be put in place to get this young person to comply with their services. Sometimes it's not simply just even the services that we're offering the family. Very often we have a lot of young people who have mental health needs, probably prescribed medication and is not meeting with their mental health provider, definitely not taking their medication. So these are things that, we see as continued non-compliance with our young people. So we will, put that intervention in place as long as it's appropriate. That in a nutshell is just a little bit about the family assessment program and what is that we offer. The key thing I want folks to walk away with is that one is completely voluntary. And we want families to want these services and want access to these services. Again, we have a host of in-home services to offer our families, but one, we don't have, unlimited slots available. And two, not a lot of families, some families are not comfortable with having services in-home and they would prefer community-based options. And so we pride ourselves on partnering with various community groups and organizations so we can also refer families to community programs within their neighborhood as well. So that's my little spiel. Definitely want to open up the floor for any questions that anyone might have.
Yeah, so good afternoon. How you doing? Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
afternoon.
Craig.
Yes.
Just two questions. Number one, you said was FAB was the name of your program?
Right,
FAB.
Family Assessment Program. We just use the acronym FAB for short.
Okay. And secondly, how does somebody enroll into FAB? Is it mandatory they enroll through ACS or can they enroll independently through ACS? How does that work?
So for us, we want the families to call us. I have some concerns with my child and I need some assistance. And just to give you a little bit of how FAP is structured. So once a family contact us, they meet with one of our social workers, whether we're doing it over the phone or we're doing it in person. We're meeting with one of our social workers. We're talking about what's driving the behavior and also the different service options that could be put in place to minimize that behavior. Although, of course, our social worker will recommend whatever they think is the most appropriate intervention for the family. The family has a voice. And that's why I said earlier that sometimes families are not too keen with, a stranger coming into their home, and we totally understand that. And that is why we also have the option of referring families to the community as well. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do parents know about your program? Because, if they're afraid of ACS, that's one thing, but then how do they know that you're available when they feel that they need help?
So we, well, one of the things that we're trying to be out in the community as much as possible. Even being here today is, how we want families to know about the program. So you might know a friend or a family or just, a neighbor who is struggling with their young person's behavior.
Right.
You please let them know about the family assessment program.
Okay.
We are constantly presenting to NYPD, DOE, and various stakeholders just to let folks know that this service is out there for families and for young people.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Question concerning when you mentioned how you mentioned that you work with youth that may be drug and gang related. What specific strategies or programs does the family assessment program employ to address those issues related to drug involvement and gang activities among youth? And then if you can also provide some insight into any collaborative, any agencies or organizations you've collaborated with to tackle those substance abuse and gang-related challenges?
Okay. Most of the services that we offer in our in-home address substance abuse and gang involvement. And part of what we do is making sure that, because when you do the studies, I don't want to go too much into this regarding gang involvement. A lot of times a young person will seek some form of acceptance from a gang, and it's has to do with what's happening inside the home. And so that's why we work so intensely with the family to support this young person regarding the choices that they make. Another thing that I spoke about too is our mentoring program. Our mentoring program are staffed by credible messengers. These are people who are not only part of the community, but have had their own struggles with, either the justice system or the child welfare system. They are of a younger age. And so we feel that these credible messengers have lived experience and can better relate to some of our young people who are dealing with something specific as gang involvement. But with respect to substance abuse, that's something that is done in treatment with most of our models. We do drug testing. We also coach parents on just how to change that behavior by being able to better deliver consequences and rewards to our youth who are struggling with substance. I think your last question was a partnership with the community. So, I mean, you name the programs that are out there, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, for various mental health organizations like New York Psychotherapy, Interboro, a whole host. If we do not know it, we will find it. So because our goal is to not have any family leave here without services.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone have any additional questions for Craig?
Craig, would you be able to provide like a success story without exposing like a family's information, but would you be able to share like a success story?
I don't know if I have a specific success story, but I've heard, numerous stories of our young people who have not only overcome the issues in terms of their academic struggles in school or gang involvement, but has also gone on to collegiate studies, and for us, that's a huge success story. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be very honest to you in terms of how we measure success. Now, ideally, we would want every youth who we encounter to have 100% behavioral change. And oftentimes, of course, we know that's not most realistic. But for us, let's take something as simple as truancy, well, it's not simple, but common as truancy, which we see on almost 75% of our cases. And how we would measure something like success for truancy is if we can get a youth who don't attend school or might attend once a week to attend 3 times a week, 4 times a week, then that's success for us, right? So that's how we kind of measure success. So, but of course, I don't have any specific examples at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? All right, Craig, thank you. I see Venus stated that it was a great presentation, so thank you so much. We
Thank you. I put my
appreciate you.
number in the chat, so if anyone have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Not a bother at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter.
Okay, our next, thank you
Oh,
so much for that
hi-
information, Craig. And am I presenting? I'm presenting.
Edlina,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Hi,
Jump the gun.
everyone. My name is Adeline. I'm the administrative assistant for the East Flatbush Community Partnership. For our second presenter, her name will be Lauren Glassman Shore. She is program director for JCCA for UC programs / immigration liaison. So yes, Lauren, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me today. Is it all right if I share my screen?
Yes, I'm just gonna make you a co-host and you should be able to now.
1 second while the computer takes its time. Okay. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So thank you so much for that introduction, for having me today. So I've come on to introduce a program that's been a part of JCCA for about 8 years now in our Bronx location, but we now have launched a program out of our Brooklyn office, servicing the Brooklyn and Queens communities. It's for unaccompanied children in foster care. So there are children under the age of 18 who come to the US without a parent or guardian. They don't have any immigration status, and they may have traveled by themselves, with a group, with an adult who again is not their parent and no legal guardian, no legal ties to them. And they're looking to seek a different life, a better life here in the US. So we are a foster care program that serves these youth. They come to the US for a variety of reasons, escaping violence or some kind of abuse, either in their communities or at home. They're reunifying with family members who crossed over before they have. They may be escaping gangs, or they just might be seeking higher education. A lot of the countries they come from, you have to pay to go to high school. There are limited educational opportunities, and the US has always been seen as a country of opportunities. They are a vulnerable population and at high risk for human trafficking, exploitation, and abuse. And most of them have had some trauma in their country of origin or along their difficult journeys. While we get the children from the southern border, they come from all over the place. So primarily we are getting children from Central America and Mexico. We do get from children from South America, Ecuador, Venezuela, children from Haiti, as well as African and Middle Eastern countries. We have seen an uptick in those children from those countries recently. And we will notice trends based on what's going on globally. So, after the US pulled out of Afghanistan, there was a huge crisis there where there were children who were left without parents, separated from parents, and brought to the US, and they are considered unaccompanied children. So what happens with these children is, like I said, mostly they're coming through the southern border. They are apprehended by Border Patrol, and because they are children under the age of 18, they're put in a special class through the Office of Refugee Resettlement. That is the federal government entity that we work with. They're placed in ORR network care of providers, so residential programs, shelters, and foster care programs. So our program is called long-term foster care. It is when children are coming through and placed with ORR attempts to try and find family and friends here in the US that can sponsor the child. And that's the goal, and that's the goal of the children too. Usually they're not coming to the US to come into, a shelter program or a foster care program. They have a name, a number, a person that they plan to stay with when they got here. So ORR attempts to reunify children with these sponsors. They could be anywhere from a parent who came to the US before they did, a family member, older sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, to, all the way through to a distant relative or just a family friend who they may never have even met before, or the last time they saw them was when they were, 2 or 3. So it runs a whole gamut, and ORR does the work to try and vet these sponsors, make sure that they are who they say they are, make sure that they have plans to care for these children. The sponsors don't have to have documentation here in the US, but that does cause a lot of the sponsors to withdraw from the vetting process because they don't want to be involved with the federal government, understandably. So the process is done to vet them, explore, who they're living with. Sometimes they're living in a home with a lot of other people and we don't know who they are and all of those things. So OR does that work. And if there are no sponsors that can take the child or no viable sponsors, ORR refers them to programs like ours, where they're placed in foster care programs throughout the country. So JCCA has, now 2 of the long-term foster care programs in the country. We place them in certified foster homes. They get enrolled in a variety of services, and we have a lot of programming for them. And we continue that work to try and find sponsors for them. Sponsors come up all the time. Family, friends cross over after they do, or family back in home country are still continuing that work to identify someone that they may know here that can care for their child, or sponsors who were previously, either withdrew from the process because they weren't living in the best situation. Now they have a place of their own, they're a little bit more settled, and they can take the child. The children are also assigned immigration attorneys, and they start working on their legal relief case. So a lot of our children are applying for asylum. They go through the application process with the attorneys and other, legal options for them so they can start getting status here in the US. Some of our youth are with us for a very short amount of time. We do have a lot of children who get reunified with family members and sponsors, and others, like our name says, long-term foster care. They're with us for a couple of years while they work on obtaining legal status. These are the program services that we offer. So we have case management services. So our case managers are doing that diligent work to speak with family back in home country, identify sponsors and other discharge plans for them. Mental health services. So every child is assigned a therapist. They attend weekly therapy. There's group therapy sessions. Medical services. All our kids have a nurse case manager here at the agency, are seen by our doctor, and we refer them out for any specialty medical services. These kids, are from countries with different regulations medically. Some of them have untreated medical conditions. They're behind on what immunizations we receive here in the US. So there's lots of work in the beginning of a case to get them, kind of settled medically. Acculturation services. So we help the children get acclimated to the US. Regardless of what country they come from, there's an adjustment that they need to do. And so we try and teach them about US culture. What are the holidays that we're celebrating? What's President's Day? What's Thanksgiving? How to use US money and things like that. How to navigate the New York City subway. There's a lot that we do around acculturation services as well as recreation services. Our kids, a lot of them have been really into soccer. And so we found soccer programs for them in the community, keeping them engaged, keeping them active, and ensuring that they have some fun as they deal with some really difficult challenges. Education. So our kids do get enrolled in New York City public schools. And obviously, you know, that's a culture shift right there. Also a language barrier for a lot of our children. And like I said, there is lack of education resources in their country back home. Some of the kids we've worked with haven't gone to school in the last couple of years. So we help them with getting any services they need in school, tutoring services. We have an education specialist that works closely with all the schools our children are enrolled in to make sure that they're getting the adequate services that they need. And like I mentioned earlier, access to legal services. They have ongoing legal appointments with their immigration attorney. They go to immigration court, and we help, you know, with any pieces related to their, you know, asylum application and whatever their attorney is working on for them legally. And the main reason why I'm here today is to get the word out about our program, let you all know that we've come to Brooklyn and we're seeking foster parents. So our grant with ORR covers the boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens. We just launched the program. We already have a child in our program and on our way to accepting another. We're going to be operating out of our JCCA's Brooklyn location downtown. And, you know, we are always in need of foster parents to take care of these children. Like I said, they're coming from all over. They speak multiple languages. We do have English speaking youth, but obviously most of our kids speak another language. So foster parents who are bilingual are definitely in high demand. Spanish is a primary language that the children we work with speak, but there's also French, Creole, Arabic, amongst other languages. In terms of foster parent requirements, so our foster parents are just like any other foster parent, if you're familiar with that process. So we go via state licensing requirements through OCFS, ACS. It's the same initial requirements, the trainings, the certification, going through the application, clearances, initial home visit, things like that. All of our foster parents get a foster board check. We ensure medical coverage for all the children, so foster parents aren't paying for those kinds of things out of pocket. There are regular home visits and monitoring, appointments for the children that the foster parents, you know, have to manage in terms of medical appointments, school meetings, agency meetings, ensuring that the children have contact with family. So as you can imagine, our children, their family is primarily back in home country. So they will be speaking with their family back home, and we need to ensure, you know, that they have that contact. So it's mostly done through WhatsApp, so it's not a cost to the foster parents in terms of international calling. But in the event that family back home doesn't have that capability, we've done things like international calling cards and other mechanisms where our children can speak with their family. There are very rare opportunities that our children get to visit with family. If there is family here in the US that either we're exploring a sponsorship with, or even if we can't explore sponsorship, if there's a sibling who's also under the age of 18, they can't be a sponsor for the child in our care, but they can visit, especially if they're local. So family visits are rare, but they do occasionally happen. In terms of specific requirements for our foster parents in our unaccompanied minors program, there is 40 hours of training each year. There are specified topics that ORR wants us to cover that are, specific to this population. We provide it at the agency, or we at least link our foster parents with resources where they can obtain these trainings. And we work really hard to ensure that that's not a hardship on our foster parents. We have monthly support groups and other areas where you can gain those training hours, so that it's not complete hardship to get those 40 hours every year. And background checks are just run more regularly. With foster parents and in domestic foster care programs, you get a background check clearance, once, and you never have to do it again. The federal government requires that it be run every 5 years. So those are really just the differences with our UC program, but a foster parent is a foster parent. So thank you for listening to me today. I'm happy to open the floor to any questions about the program. And please spread the word. Take it back to your communities. Any if you know of anyone who is currently fostering or has been interested in fostering and might be interested in this population, I'm really happy to connect with them and give them more information.
Thanks, Lauren. Could you share the length of the time it takes to become a foster parent for this program?
Sure. So, it doesn't really differ from how long it takes a regular foster parent. In my experience, I've seen foster parents become foster parents in the matter of, 2-3 months. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It, depends on training, when they can sign up for training, how engaged they are in the process. Potential foster parents, they can get those things done fairly quickly.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions for Lauren?
I have a question. Lauren, what do you use to monitor the well-being of the children, the unaccompanied children, like to make sure they have everything they need in the long-term foster care and address any emerging needs and challenges that may arise over time?
So every child is assigned a case manager and a clinician, a therapist. So the case managers are the one who speaking with the youth on a regular basis. They're doing at least monthly home visits to the foster home itself. And our clinicians are seeing the children weekly for therapy appointments. And they work closely together. Our program is fairly small in terms of staff. We've got about 10 to 15 staff members in each office. So we all work really closely together. We meet, we have a weekly meeting, but we're always meeting every day, all day, to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the youth and constantly doing case consultations, so that if any need arises, we've got all eyes on it, all hands on deck. Our foster parents work really closely with us. So we have a foster parent coordinator who is the liaison to our foster parents. So she's the main point of contact for our foster parents if they have any issues or they're seeing something that is concerning to them. But they're also in communication with the case manager, with the clinician. So we're all a team with the foster parent, working to ensure that we're meeting the needs of the kids.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Lauren? Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate your
Thank you.
presentation.
Really appreciate being here today. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, now it is time to hear from you all. If you would please let us know what's going on in your world, if you have any upcoming events, if you have any other information you'd like to share, any needs that you have, now is the time. So I do see, I saw a hand up. Is there anyone who would like to share program updates now?
Venus has her hands.
Okay, hi Venus. I thought I saw your hand earlier.
I was clapping for Lauren's presentation. But hi everyone, I'm Venus. I'm the Brooklyn Outreach Coordinator for the Civilian Complaint Review Board, known as CCRB. Essentially, we independently investigate, mediate, and prosecute allegations of police misconduct. So unlike the Internal Affairs Bureau, where we have officers and DTs that are investigating some misconduct of their fellow officers, Our agency is completely civilian oversight. So it's people like me and you who are investigating these cases and prosecuting the more serious allegations. Our jurisdiction is force, abuse of authority, discourtesy, offensive language. One update that I do have is that we all know of the notorious budget cuts for the city. Our agency was slashed 15%. So some of the allegations that we used to be able to investigate that were standalone are no longer in our jurisdiction. So certain allegations, like if an officer refuses to provide their name and shield number, if that's the only complaint in a case, that will be given right back to the NYPD. The mayor told us that once that he will restore our budget. And then when he restores the budget, all of those allegations will come back to us. On a more outreach note, I'm the outreach coordinator. So any type of like community events, religious institutions, if you need me to come talk to your youth, families, young people, elders, anyone that needs a Know Your Rights workshop regarding policing, how to interact with police with street encounters, how to interact with safely, stop and frisk, breaking down those type of things. We do presentations and we do tabling. So I would love to connect with anyone and all of you, especially connecting with Craig. I think your organization is amazing, and I see some correlations. We definitely work with at-risk youth that are gang related or just at risk, not furthering themselves the way that they should. So if anyone needs to reach out to me, I'll definitely reach out to you. I have my information. I'll leave it in the chat and a brochure. But thank you. Stay warm. Hopefully spring comes soon. I'm tired of the weather. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Tyrone, you're up next.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Tyrone McDonald from Neighborhood Housing Services of Brooklyn. Just a few upcoming events we're having on Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, February the 27th at 12 p.m. We're having our noonday home buying workshop. So, if you're spending some time at lunch and you just want to check in on a home buying workshop, feel free to drop in. I will post a flyer in the chat. And on March the 7th, which is a Thursday, we are also having a Housing Connect workshop on how to navigate Housing Connect. And we're also going to have the management company for an apartment at 1919 Surf Avenue, which is in Coney Island. They're going to be there just to talk a little bit about that unit, which is actually the deadline to apply for that is coming up soon. So I also would post that in the chat. For any other details, you can always go to our website for upcoming events at nhsbrooklyn.org. And lastly, I look forward to participating in Saturday's workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share program updates?
Hi, I wanted to also know if your agency,
I
Tyrone,
would
doing
say like
anything for taxes.
No, we don't. Actually, the only taxes that we do look at is property taxes, not like income taxes. So if you're interested in income taxes, we could refer you to an organization like Grow Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza. Those organizations, they actually, help like complete, your taxes. But we review actually property taxes. Someone, is either behind and they want to get current, or let's say they want to apply, they want to know more about like different property tax exemptions. We handle that sort of thing.
Okay.
Thank you. Anthony, you're up next.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to shout out the Fresh Air Fund. We're a free, safe, fun summer sleepaway experience for New York City youth ages 8 to 15 years old. As the weather gets nicer, parents are going to become more and more interested in summer opportunities for their kids. They also are waiting for summer rising, which we all know is uncertain as to who gets it, who does not. There is no uncertainty with the Fresh Air program. You may assume that the child is going to be able to go. It's not a lottery if they complete the application. I am available. I put my credentials in the chat to do application workshops at your location in the community where your parents and families are. to assist them. All of the applications are available only online. It's a digital application. Remember, again, all of our programs are free, fun, and safe. So reach out to me and let's together make a lot of New York City children happy this summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Who else would like to share? Okay, while we're waiting, I do have a question from someone on our team. Just wondering, how have the recent budget cuts impacted your organizations, specifically how you're able to provide services? We did hear a little bit about that earlier, but if you all can please share.
You mean the city agencies?
Yes, and any agencies that have been impacted.
Right. I think for us, it's a lot of it has to do with staffing.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
You know,
Meaning
yeah.
that you had to let people
Existing,
go?
no, it's some of it has to do with if you had an existing line, like say for instance, you had a line to hire
Mhm.
someone, you may not have that line.
Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
thank you. Any other impacts?
Well, I think another one for the CCRB would be, as well as staffing. That's a struggle for us. Um, and as well as with our outreach, we used to do board meetings in the community once a month, and it will circulate. So one meeting will be in Brooklyn, the next Queens, and now we don't do that anymore, which is kind of sad because it's like that is our like way to really be in the community. So when people are like, "Where are you at? We're gonna be here tonight at this time." So I think it makes the job a bit harder because it feels like we're a little disconnected from the community now that we can't afford to have the meetings um, out externally. We have to keep it in house, which that creates a transportation barrier for folks as well as time. So hopefully the budget is restored soon.
Has your organization reached out to other organizations to partner just to hold the event, like churches or schools?
So I have to like reach out to our director about that. She's actually in maternity leave. So when she comes back, I'm definitely gonna raise that to her because there's a lot of free spaces and community centers. It's just a means of like doing the work to reach out and connect with various partners. So definitely gonna raise that. That was a good suggestion.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out to us directly if we can assist with that. We can help you with East Flatbush with some of the partners that we have.
Most definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other program updates or feedback regarding how budget cuts have impacted your organization and delivery of resources and services?
I heard this, but I don't know how true. I heard it from other areas within our department. Weekends events,
Mm.
a little scale back with those. And those events that we usually have in the community and we have to provide, refreshment and all that stuff, that's been cut. So yeah, that's what I've heard from others.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you. Okay, any other program updates?
Can I just add one thing?
Of course.
Um, just to let everybody know that next week on the 27th, next Tuesday, we're having a webinar, upcoming webinar on, um, I'm sorry, it is called Preparing for Storms and Winter Weather. It will be in Spanish and it's going to be from 11 to 11:45. It's only a 45 minutes webinar. Please, if you do have your clients or staff that speak Spanish, we welcome you to join us. You do get a certificate for attending the webinar. And that's my only announcement. And, stay tuned for us for March and our March and April calendar coming up soon.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Hi, this
Okay.
is Christine Welch. I'm sorry,
Hi,
Rebecca. I know
Christine.
you were just about to wrap up,
No,
but
you good. Go ahead.
yes, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of Lauren a little bit today. Just mention to everyone, my name is Christine Welch. I'm from JCCA. I'm so happy to see everyone and connect with everyone in the partnership. I actually called someone recently in regards to like just finding different workshops out. So I'm just happy for this collaboration. But I did want to mention that we are looking for foster homes for all of our children. I put in the chat our actual link to our brochure. You can use the barcode, and we're actually going to be speaking next month a little bit more so. So please, please, please feel free to reach out to me. My information is in the chat. And once again, thank you so much for this collaboration.
You're welcome, Christine. Claudia, would you like to share?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Claudia Diaz, and this is my first time joining one of the meetings. I work with Women's Prevention Services at CAMBA, located at 1259 Flatbush. And right now we offer services to women 14 years and older. Some of you may be familiar with our program. We offer HIV testing referrals, Hep C testing referrals. We also do group interventions, evidence-based groups by the CDC. So we do Willow, Sista, Voices. We also offer one-on-one counseling, PEP and PrEP navigation services. So if anyone is interested in knowing more, you can always reach out, and are always open to collaborate.
Oh, Lord, why did
Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Claudia, how did you find out about our meeting? I always like to ask people that when they tell me it's their first time.
So my supervisor, Ms. Rita Cordova Padron, I think she used to sit in on the meetings, and my former coworker Paola too. And she recommended that I join and get to meet other people. I recently started as a full-time position, so I'm getting more responsibilities and just trying to learn more. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
All righty. Any other updates?
Claudia, if you have a flyer, please share it in the chat. We'll love to
Yes.
share it, and one of our partners also flyer.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually looking for one to add it, but I will.
Thank you.
Great. Any other program updates? Okay. So as stated earlier, I want to go to March 28th. We're having our in-person monthly meeting, 57 Willoughby Street. I know we keep mentioning it. We're doing that on purpose so that you all remember. I'm curious, if you plan to attend in person, can you please raise your hand so I can just have an idea? And I'm going to add in that we are planning to have food. I don't know if that matters to you, but it matters to me. Just want to get a gauge who is planning to come in person. Okay, I see Craig. I see Anis. I see Tyrone. Thank you. I see Jackie. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Just wanted to get a gauge as to who would be coming in person. Definitely would love to have you all. We're going to meet in person once a quarter. So March, and then next in June, and then, pretty much every 3 months. So you can look forward to that. Thank you, those who raised their hand. Appreciate you engaging me with that information. I'm going to go back to this slide. Feel free to follow us on social media if you are not already. And just wanted to kind of explain that we post a lot of information about our partners on our Instagram stories. It may not be on our regular feed, but very often I'll, send things over to Edlin and like, please post this in our stories, please post it in our stories. So feel free to follow us there so you can get information that may not be in the newsletter. Typically, if it's an event that's happening maybe outside of East Flatbush, just still in Brooklyn, we'll share that on our stories on Instagram. So would love to have you connect with us there. And feel free if you would like to, put your Instagram or social media handles in the chat so we can follow you all that way. We'd love to do that. Just a reminder, we service 11203, 210, 212, and 11226 as far as our catchment area. If families that come to us are not in those areas, we definitely will still assist them. There are 10 other partnerships throughout the 5 boroughs, and we do our best to make sure that they are receiving the assistance they need. I'm going to put a plug in for something that we're bringing back. Let me stop sharing screen for a moment. Do you all remember our utility bill assistance program? If you do, feel free. You can unmute and say, yes, I do. So
Yes, I do.
All right, Anthony, we are bringing that back. We're in the process of ordering the gift cards that are going to be used for the utility bill payment. Families will be able to receive one gift card valued at $150. I'm sharing this information with you because we're really going to highly rely on you to spread the words. So if you're working with families that might need assistance paying a gas bill, electricity bill, phone bill, whatever it is, we're gonna have a form become live very soon, and you all will be able to apply on behalf of the family. They can apply themselves, but you can apply on their behalf. And then we ask that you submit those past due bills. We have a unique email address that will be sent to. All that information will be provided. I just wanted to put a buzz in your ear so that you can look forward to that information being officially announced. So we're bringing that back. We have limited resources, but I think it'll still make an impact. And so just wanted to share that so you all can look forward to receiving that information and assisting us with helping the families out pay their utility bills. Any questions around that or anything else?
Lameka, I just want to say that that's great because I was asking Cindy about 3 weeks ago for some of the seniors that were definitely in need. As the weather gets cooler, the heat has to definitely be on, and our heart goes out to them. So thank you very, very much for putting this out there. God bless you guys.
Thank you, Smithy. You're welcome. All right, Jackie, did you want to speak, or is that an old hand raise? I think it might be old.
It was an old hand.
Okay. All righty. So yes, everyone, please, look forward to receiving the information about the gift card distribution. And we look forward to seeing you all on the 28th, live and in person. And for those of you who cannot attend, we are doing our best to ensure that you can still attend virtually as usual. So I'm going to leave the line open for a few minutes, just in case there are any other people that want to connect and engage with each other. And we look forward to seeing you next month in person, and if not, virtually. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care, everyone.
Happy Black History Month. Have a great day. Take care, all.
Happy Black History Month. Bye.